Hello and welcome to this month's video at the Universal Heart Book Club. I'm Stephanie Dowrick and this is Walter Mason, and I am so interested to know what you've got for us this month, Walter.
Well, I've picked a book, Stephanie, which is so enchanting. It's called Writing Down Your Soul by Janet Connor. And it's a guide to journal writing, really, but it's so much more than that. It's describing a spiritual and psychological process of a really deep kind of writing. She recommends you get up in the morning and you find the right time and the right place and you stick with it for 30 days and you turn up for it constantly to do this. And the book is filled with examples, and there's also a great section of questions that you can ask yourself, that you can journal about. And she's written this from a place of self-discovery, because she went through a very, very tough time in her life, and she created this journaling process, which she calls Writing Down Your Soul. And she's put it all down in this book. I believe she runs courses in the States as well for it. But what it is it's a book that you need to keep with you, I think, for a year. I've read it straight through, but I think that I know that I'll be working with this book for an entire year, because it's so rich and there's so much that's done in it. You can see I've got turned over and highlighted sections everywhere, because it's a process. You know, it's not a book that you just sit down and read, though. But she describes the process perfectly. It's a 4-step process, and I just love it. It's show up, open up, listen up, and follow up.
Oh, I like that.
The 4 ups.
Yeah.
And it's such an empowering book. It's a book that, at the same time as having made me think very, very closely about certain questions in my life, it's also given me a lot of avenues to work towards. So it's really exciting.
And so, do you think it's liberating your writing, as you're a writer, or do you think it's more liberating insights?
I find it's been both, actually. I find that at times I'm applying it to my writing, and I'm actually writing an article at the moment, which this has been very helpful in the process of. But also, it's quite a personal, psychological and spiritual process for me as well. It's been something that's been quite profound, actually. I don't think I've been moved by a book quite so much in a long time. So, yeah.
Oh, that's a big recommendation.
Yeah. There's something very gentle about her. There's something very sympathetic about her. And I find that I respond very, very well to this book and to her writing.
Yes. Well, I'm very excited to read it, not only because I wrote a book on journal writing myself, creative journal writing, but also because I've been reading Janet Connor's The Lotus and the Lily, and I think you've read this one too. And this is also a very beautiful book, again based on a 30-day soul program. So this is clearly her format, but it's not at all formulaic.
No.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to read that one.
And what have you got for us, Stephanie?
And I think you're going to be very excited about this one. I haven't even mentioned to Walter what I was going to do this month. This is a book called Saved by a Poem by a woman called Kim Rosen. And it's not only a wonderful book, it also has a CD incorporated with it, in which many, many poems are read. And well, I just love the title, first of all, that we could be saved by a poem, because I believe deeply and absolutely that we can indeed be saved, not so much by the poem itself, but what a poem allows us, how it allows us to come into what Rainer Maria Rilke called in touch with our deepest things, our deepest self, our deepest living, you know, and I feel this so passionately. And Kim Rosen has caught this same passion. And you know, there are many stories in this book too, which are very moving. For example, one woman who was having literally a nervous breakdown, and she learned all Shakespeare's sonnets by heart during this process, and it literally saved her. Well, of course it saved her, because she was paying attention to something that was innately, marvelously uplifting. She was paying attention to the magic of language, and she was also paying attention to something way beyond herself, even maybe above herself in the transcendent sense of that, or above those concerns that had broken her open. So in this broken open space, she allowed this magic of words to enter. And Kim Rosen gives us many, many beautiful examples like that. And I was reminded of once I've been teaching writing, as you know, for many, many years, and once I was teaching writing in Tasmania, in a country area, and a woman came to the writing course whom I've never forgotten. She ran an egg farm, you know, hens, And it was it's very hard. It was a very hard job, you know, very demanding job. And she transformed her experience of it by always having a notebook nearby in which she just noted down her thoughts and her poetry. And there are many examples of people here in all sorts of circumstances, not only reading poetry and transforming their lives, but also writing poetry or entering life with a more poetic sensibility. So whether or not you love poetry, whether or not you know yet that you love poetry, I cannot recommend this book to you strongly enough. Maybe even to listen to the poetry first that's on the CD and then to read the book. I think it's absolutely beautiful.
Sounds fantastic.
Are you going to rush and read it straight away?
I absolutely am. It just sounds beautiful. Yeah.
Well, we've brought a lot of writing ideas,
We have.
but not just for writers, really writing ideas for readers, poetry ideas, creative ideas.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Walter.
Thank you, Stephanie.
And we're going to be putting reviews up.
Indeed, yes. I've almost got my review for this ready, and I've just been so wildly enthusiastic about my book, so I'm sure you will be as well.
I will be, and I'll be so enthusiastic about mine. So until next month, thank you from me.
Thank you so much. Bless you.